Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Big news, Tony. Your boy, George Clooney, reportedly off the market.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. First me, then Clooney. That's a tough 40 years for the ladies. Yeah. You know, I love
40
Clooney.
years.
You know, I admire him. He's terrific.
Yeah.
Wish him all the luck in the world, don't you?
He vowed he would never give himself up like this again, though. What is that? What's up with that?
I miss my wingman. Awful. Just awful. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Warriors pull even, the Mavericks pull ahead, and a retired NBA player wears his own jersey to a game. But we begin today with the news that new NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will discuss the investigation into Clippers owner Donald Sterling tomorrow at 2 p.m. By now, everyone knows that Sterling stands accused of making racist comments that have been widely disseminated and condemned. Wilbon, what should Adam Silver and the NBA owners do about Donald Sterling?
They should suspend him indefinitely, Tony, pending the results of this investigation. If that's him on that tape, they should get rid of him. They should force him to sell. I know that the NBA is not Major League Baseball. I know that the commissioner does not have the broad powers that the commissioner of baseball had, and therefore you get a marred shot situation. They are not identical. Still, you cannot have this man in the league. CarMax, Kia, Virgin America, State Farm, Red Bull, Sprint. These are some of the companies, some of the corporate sponsors, if you will, who have either suspended their association with or are ending their association with Donald Sterling and the Clippers. And, Tony, those owners, I talked to Michael Jordan yesterday. I know he's one of them. They're in the process of making a sane call.
There are 29 other owners, 28 other than Michael Jordan and Donald Sterling, and you don't know what those guys think because you don't know if they want to set a precedent that gets them out of the league if something like this happens. If you are the league right now, you've got to do something quickly because you've had good playoffs going on. Now nobody knows you have playoffs. Now the whole thing is about the Donald Sterling affair. What you and I have discussed publicly and privately is that, you know, people knew about him. Yeah. They may not have heard his voice before. They may not have heard these tapes before, but he had revealed his character a number of times. And to me, there's an overarching question here, which is that David Stern, who knew him well, enabled him, gave him Chris Paul a few years ago. Lakers went down, Clippers went up. You know, why do you do that? Why do you do that?
Well, Tony, David Stern would have to, and I'm guessing at some point we'll have some sort of answer for that. But we're now in the here and now. Everything you said is on the money. There are stories out there for years. Things he said. Things in lawsuits. The Department of Justice in its lawsuit against Donald Sterling, quoting him saying something not quite this heinous, but bad enough that the league should have put him on notice. So they enabled him. But, Tone, now we're at a point where it's out there, his voice, if that is his voice, is on it, and he's got to go.
Yeah, but the goes like this. It's not easy to get him out. You can suspend him. You can get him out in the short term. It's not going to be that easy to force him to sell or strip him of ownership. They don't have precedent for that. Let me give you like a scenario that works like this, that Donald Sterling comes out within the next 2 days, and he says, I heard that tape. It's awful. I didn't think I was that guy, but that sounds so bad that I know I need counseling. I can't be this way. I've owned this team for 40 years. Let me get some counseling. When I come back, I'll be better than ever. Would that work?
Tony, it's over. He has done this in Los Angeles. There are 3 places where it's best not to mess with and insult with hostility hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of African Americans. Los Angeles, New York, Chicago. These are not small communities.
You can't do it anywhere, Mike.
No, but Tony, I'm talking about you shouldn't do it anywhere. What I'm saying is you can't do it in places that big where people can mobilize with historic groups behind them. And, Tony, also this. You're not just dealing with players and owners now. You have insulted a community which supports you with more fervor than any other.
Yes.
The basketball in black America is second only to the church. The church, in terms of important institutions culturally. This, Tony, it has to be a wrap. Donald Sterling has to go. No apologies.
There's a great irony here. The great irony, if Yahoo's report is correct, that Magic Johnson, who was personally insulted in what Donald Sterling said, Magic Johnson and other owners from the Dodgers would like to own this team. They'd like to own the Clippers. And if that were to happen, the NBA would be thrilled to have Magic Johnson. It wouldn't work well for the Lakers,
Well,
they would be thrilled to have this. That is a good ending for the NBA.
Tony, I'm told yesterday there were at least 5 billionaires on the phone within 3 hours of Sterling's comments to Adam Silver. So there are going to be a lot of people out there who want to buy the Clippers. They don't have to have this guy as a partner. It now embarrasses them. It hurts the business. He's got to go. Got to go. By now, most people have seen the Clippers' very organized protest of Donald Sterling, from dumping their warm-ups in the middle of the floor to obscuring the Clippers' name on their sweats to wearing black socks and wristbands. It appears there will be something visible tomorrow night in Los Angeles, or could be as well. Tone, what did you think of what the players did?
You know, I thought it was reasonable. I thought it was measured. I think it was their way of saying, we may play for the Clippers, but we don't like playing for this guy, so we're going to turn the jerseys around so the warm-up so you don't see Clippers. It's a way to separate themselves from him. I think if they had not played the game, that would have been bad. I think that could have boomeranged. I don't think you want to hurt your fans. I don't think you want to hurt what could be a championship team. But on balance, I thought it was fine, Mike. I wonder how it was viewed in New York. I think it might have scared the people in the league office because these ad hoc demonstrations, they may have agreed with this one, but that's a scary time when you get into what does this one team think about this one circumstance. I think it terrifies Adam Silver. I think it's one of the reasons he could have the covers over his head today.
Well, Tony, he better get out from under the covers. And he's lucky the players' demonstration wasn't louder. I mean, it could have been. You mentioned sort of the tone of these demonstrations. The players have been responsible. The owner of the franchise has, from what we know now, has not been. So I don't think the league should be worried about what the players did at all. The players are also guided by a coach who's a former player in Doc Rivers. And another thing they're lucky to have.
My understanding was he was not in favor of a particular kind of demonstration.
But he stayed out of it. And my point is the counsel to those players is coming from arguably the most responsible and sober-thinking person who's been in this league for 30-plus years in Glenn Rivers, and the league and the franchise are lucky to have him as the steward.
Okay, there's a game. There's another game, Game 5. Do you think the players will do anything? I don't think the players should. I think you're right. If Doc Rivers, who's been the voice of reason so far, who had a conference call today when he didn't have to, he voluntarily did that. If he gets up and addresses the crowd, I'm with that. I'm not sure that the players should do anything, and they should never leave it to fans. Because you don't know what you're getting into if you open it up.
No, Tony, I think the way to go is them having Doc Rivers as the person, as their steward.
If he wants,
I mean, as their captain, if they want to do that, I think we're guessing now. I would be surprised if there wasn't something tomorrow, and I'm going to be in Los Angeles tomorrow. I am as curious about this as anything in the NBA in terms of sort of social and cultural statement. I want to see what the players feel like they should do. But, Tony, people who thought that the Clippers weren't emotionally affected by this and it was basketball as usual, they are insane to think that.
Well, let's turn to the actual basketball game, which will be played tomorrow night. Golden State Warriors, they shot lights out last night. They evened the series at 2-2, dropping the Clippers by 21. Wilbon, given the pervasive distractions swirling around the Clippers, do you now think the Warriors have the advantage in this series?
Well, Tone, I don't know if they have the advantage, but I know the advantage. There is an advantage. When you have this sort of emotional upheaval that you have with those Clippers players, and apparently it's all of them. It is all, they've heard this time and time again. They also, by the way, they know the history. They come to learn it. Talking to an ex-Clipper about that yesterday of some of the things that Donald Sterling's been involved in. I don't think you can walk in that building and be emotionally centered like you want to be in a playoff series when people, let's face it, coaches talk about what all the time, distractions. This is not a distraction. You're being derailed, not distracted. So I guess the Golden State Warriors have an advantage. I don't know whether it's the advantage.
You know what? It's a best-of-3 series right now, and the Clippers have 2 games at home, and this is why they hired Doc Rivers. If you're going to praise Doc Rivers for all the things he might do in addressing a crowd, I'm going to praise him for the fact that he's going to gather this team around and he's going to say, this is just us now. All right? We're out here alone. We have to put on a show for our fans who've been loyal to us. We got to show them why we're in the playoffs, and we got to get rid of all the extraneous thought. And I know that's going to be hard because players get bombarded with texts and with Twitter tweets or whatever that stuff is all the time. and they take it with them onto the court. But that's the responsibility of Doc. The other thing is, and you know I love Golden State, when you're a shooting team, look at Steph Curry. He had a great game yesterday.
Oh, you can go cold.
He had 3 that weren't so good.
Go cold.
So
yeah.
you can give defense and effort constantly. And so I don't think that this distraction is enough to derail the Clippers unless they let it be.
Well, Tony, I think some things are so extreme that you have very little control. I'm not going to say no control. I don't know whether I'm not even saying I bet the Warriors are going to win the game. All I'm saying is to presume that you can get yourself or the team emotionally centered when something like this is around you. This is extreme. This is different. This is not like the other distractions coaches preach about week in, week out, season in, season out. I think we're going to have to see what happens when they take the court. Meanwhile, believe it or not, there are other series going on and some fascinating ones at that. The Spurs, the best team in the league, trailed Dallas 2-1, with Game 4 tipping off in Dallas in only 4 hours or so. Only 8 teams in history have won a series after trailing 3-1 in the NBA. Tone, for all the wonderful things Pop and the Spurs have done the last 15 years, they've never done that. Does that make tonight a must-win for them?
Yeah, it's clearly a must-win. You don't want to go down 3. No, it's a must-win. You'll recall that before the playoffs started, I told you in the West, I thought Portland could win. I thought Memphis could win, and I said I wouldn't count out Dallas.
All the bottom seeds could win.
Yeah, because Dirk Nowitzki, we've seen him win a championship by getting hot. He ain't hot right now. He's averaging 15 points a game. He's been to foul line 3 times in 3 games, and he's shooting 39%. So if any great player is due to get hot, it's Dirk Nowitzki due to get hot, and I think they can win the game.
Well, Tone, just to follow up on Dallas for a second, to mention some other assets they have, Rick Carlisle, who's got a championship ring on his fingers as coach. You've also got veteran guys who usually do better in long playoff situations like Vince Carter, like Monte Ellis. They're constructed potentially
Vince
for
Carter
a postseason
now is a
run.
veteran. Vince Carter's 55 years old. That shot was a gift. They shouldn't be up 2-1.
Well,
that was a gift.
You know what? Miami shouldn't have been able to win Game 6, but Ray Allen got one of those too. So these things happen in the NBA playoffs. But, Tony, I don't think it's a have-to-win game for San Antonio.
Really?
San Antonio has home court advantage. They would still get a Game 7 at home if they went down 3-1. The other thing, we just saw this last year. The Bulls won a Game 7 on the road in Brooklyn. We've seen it. It's not common, but I'm not ready to say it's a must game.
The Bulls?
Not just yet.
Whatever happened to them? Let's take a break. Coming up, the Blazers put the Rockets on the brink of elimination.
Plus, a White Sox rookie makes history. And Stevie Francis, he wore his jersey to the game yesterday. I saw him.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I liked it.
That's wrong.
Thought it looked good. Good look.
No. Stuffed up, coughing, my elbow hurts, and Wilbon is gone, forcing me to read all 4 emails. It's a good thing I'm not a complainer. Let me see what's first.
That's golf vacation. You need a vacation from your golf vacation, don't you?
Are you with Mark Jackson that all fans should boycott tomorrow's Warriors-Clippers game in Los Angeles?
Tony, I don't know that I'm with him. I'm not against him either. I mean, people want to voice their own protests and direct them at Donald Sterling. So I understand why Mark Jackson, we've been saying this, by the way, former Clipper Mark Jackson, who played for the Clippers for 2 years, and Donald Sterling certainly would have been an owner then. I understand why he's saying this. He's sort of agitating. I mean, it could help his team if that's a half-empty building tomorrow. I do not expect it to be half-empty. But let me say this quickly. That is the blackest and brownest crowd in the NBA. Even more than Washington and Detroit and Atlanta, places where you have a lot of black and brown wealth that people go to NBA games. The Clippers, it's a different crowd than the Lakers crowd, and you notice it, wow, right away when going there. I wonder how many people are going to stay away.
If I was Doc Rivers, I'd tell Mark Jackson to shut up. I'd say, you coach your team. You worry about your fans. Don't you tell my fans in my building not to come, because that's gamesmanship. That gives a big advantage to the Warriors. I'm not saying Jackson is insincere. I'm saying when you look at the effect of urging Clippers fans not to go to the games, are you kidding me with that?
Could be a big deal, Tony. Everything about tomorrow night in Los Angeles is going to be a big deal.
Daryl Morey, your boy, says the Rockets-Blazers series has been 4 coin flips, of which they have lost 3. Is it as simple as that?
It's exactly as simple as that. These games are that tight. They are airtight. 3 of them have gone, of course, to overtime. That's the reference. The average score in this series is 119-115. Last night was 123-120. They're breathless games, Tony. LaMarcus Aldridge is playing as well as anybody in the playoffs right now. Dwight Howard, who you like to pounce on, has had some great games. Lillard, Mo hit the shot last night, which basically won it eventually for Portland. These are staggeringly great games. They're coin flips.
Yeah, well, it's not as simple as that. Because if it was a coin flip, it would take 1 second. And these games have gone 48, 53, 53, and 53. When Houston loses 2 at home so far, it's not a coin flip. If they lose this series, that is a personal failure for Dwight Howard. They didn't get out of the first round with Tracy McGrady. And they brought in Dwight Howard to buttress Harden and make that a great team. This would be failure.
If Dwight Howard was on the other team, you'd say it's a coin flip, but you'd be ripping the other team. It's just about you and Dwight Howard, because you're not watching these games. You're not watching.
I'm not just standing up for Daryl Morey. No.
I know. You just want to attack Dwight Howard.
If you were David Backus, would you have been so gracious to Brent Seabrook in the handshake line?
No. I'm a Blackhawk fanatic, but Brent Seabrook, no. I'd have had a stun gun. And Tony, I watched this live. I stayed with the telecast because I wanted to see after that hit in Game 2, and St. Louis did win that game. They didn't win another game with Backus out of there. And I thought, wow, there could be something awkward here. There wasn't. He was so gracious to Seabrook. I was sort of surprised by it, but this is what hockey players do. They never seem to disrupt that line.
It's the hockey ethic. You shake somebody's hands, you congratulate them. I agree with you. I'd have tried to kill the guy. He smashed my head into the boards and left me for dead. And his teammates said, wakey, wakey, come on.
Well, you don't know
that was awful. And then they won by getting rid of Backus. They won 4 straight games, the Blackhawks. So I would have been furious at this, and I, too, am surprised that he was that gracious.
A lot of class and grace, Tony, in the face of that, to go up and shake the other guy's hand and pat him on the shoulder.
Steve Francis wearing his own jersey to the Bulls-Wizards game. Fashion do or don't?
Big dude. And I told him that yesterday. Stevie Francis came over to the media room, said hello to some people, me included, yesterday after the game. And it was great. I loved him in the jersey. It works for him. It wouldn't have been Dwayne Wade's fashion sense or Dikembe Mutombo, who was in the house, too, wearing about a $4,500 suit. But for Stevie Francis at home, he's rocking the All-Star jersey that's his. I liked it a lot.
It's an incredible show of ego to go to a game not only wearing an NBA jersey with your name on it because it's your jersey, but to wear one from an All-Star game, to just broadcast that 80 to 90% of the people playing the league will never get a jersey like that.
That's right. That's cool.
It's a complete and utter fashion don't. He's a grown man. He's an adult. You don't do it. I got stuff that people have given me with my name on the back. I wear it to sleep. I don't take it out. I don't wear PTI stuff everywhere. No, I don't. No.
You got your own logo? You got your own logo?
No, I'm not like your boys. Not like your boys who have their own logo. No. No female. Time for a break, but on the way, the Heat go for the sweep.
I want to sneak in and take a photo of you in your own clothes at night sleeping.
I don't tuck them in.
Vince Young's NFL tryout and Willie Nelson's 5th-degree black belt. If a major league team asks you to come, maybe you tuck yours in.
I'm untucked, baby. Untucked. And happy time, people. Happy 81st birthday, Willie Nelson. This is tomorrow, but today, octogenarian Nelson is being awarded his 5th-degree black belt in a Korean martial art. Anecdotal material exists everywhere about what a great athlete Nelson was as a younger man. But at 80, to be given a 5th-degree black belt in anything is impressive. Wilbon, what is your favorite Willie Nelson song?
You were always on my mind.
That's a good one.
I like. He's a good golfer, Tony. You know
that
he is. Probably shoot his age.
A not-so-happy anniversary to the Washington Capitals. On this day 4 years ago, the Caps became the first #1 seed ever to lose to a #8 after holding a 3-1 series lead. In related Caps news, after not even making the playoffs this year, the Caps fired general manager George McPhee and coach Adam Oates. Wilbon, was the Caps purge the right thing?
Tony, I would not have done it that way. I understand why Ted Leonsis did it that way, but I would have traded Alexander Ovechkin. I would have said, I'm going to keep you guys and trade the guy who's been here through multiple coaches and hasn't gotten it done. That's me.
And a melancholy happy trails to Dr. Jack Ramsey. Jack Ramsey, who spent his entire life in basketball, died this morning at the age of 89. He was a college basketball coach at St. Joe's. He coached 4 different NBA teams, including the 1977 Portland Trail Blazers, which won the NBA championship. And for years after coaching, he was a terrific broadcaster of basketball games. It's rare that this adjective is used properly, but Jack Ramsay was beloved.
Tony, one of the great thrills of my career is being able to go to so many NBA games, and Dr. Jack is there, and you know this. We talk to him before and after games, and Coach Hugh B. Brown, and when you're in the Bay Area, Al Attles, those guys are walking museums of basketball. It is an honor to be around them, and particularly Dr. Jack.
Rally's in New York today. He facts in that Dirk has 11 free throws in the series, not 3 like that dope Kornheiser said. Quick to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Wizards now up 3-1 on the Bulls. How's that taste?
I mean, how's that taste? I mean, the Wizards we thought could win that series.
How's that taste?
The Browns are trying out Vince Young tomorrow. He's only 31. You like his chances?
No, I think it's over for him, I do. Hawks, Pacers, Heat, Bobcats tonight. Who you got?
Al Jefferson's out, Tony. You know, I don't see them having any chance to win a game in that series. White Sox slugger Jose Abreu, rookie best for homers and RBIs in April. Is he having a better season than Tanaka?
It's close, but 10 homers and 31 ribbies so far. Come on, last one.
That's
3 NHL Game 6s tonight. Penguins, Avalanche, Sharks. Will they all close it out?
They're all on the road. Only the Sharks, Tony, do I have winning.
We are out of time. We'll try and do better the next time, and I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Check out that PTI podcast on iTunes.
Gary Smith, shout out, retiring from SI. Good luck.
Too young to retire.
These days, you can get practically anything on demand, like this podcast. Did you know you can even get postage on demand? You can with Stamps.com. No more going to the post office. No more waiting in line. Just go to Stamps.com and print all the postage you want, anytime you want. Anything you can do at the post office, you can do right from your desk with Stamps.com. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your own computer and printer. And, unlike the post office, Stamps.com never closes, so you can get postage whenever you need it. Right now, get this special offer from Stamps.com when you use promo code PTI, a no-risk trial, plus a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com and, before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the home page and type in PTI. That's Stamps.com, promo code PTI.
What makes the Indy 500 the greatest spectacle in racing?
Back home again.
We are green. Everyone in the grandstands are on their feet.
Now the winner of the Indianapolis 500, my friend.
The Indianapolis 500, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on ABC.